Hey, it's Kayla. I'm going to be describing now the last two of the 8 functions I'm going to be describing. Um, the introverted perceiving functions. Well, perceiving functions go with the flow, sort of. Only, like that's what it's. I mean, I would say they also want to affect things only, I don't know. It's the it's about also just taking a lot of stuff in and still and affecting the environment also, well, the extrovert types. The introverted types, it's more about taking it in, but for the introverted receiving types, I would consider it like a path, sort of, both of them. And I don't know, yeah, it's both. I would consider it it's maybe like taking it in, whereas extrovert intuition would go uh, everywhere, need to get it all in. Like, they would need to take stuff in too, only it would be, they wouldn't need to as much, and actually maybe more would just add to it. They sort of, it would get overwhelmed if they took in too much, and then because they would be sorting through it and connecting it. I feel like perceiving is about connecting things together, and taking in, whereas judging could be more defining things, as well as how it how it affects either the environment or you personally. Extroverted, I would say, though, extrovert function in general is about sort of you sort of need to feel like you have some sort of an effect on the environment. Otherwise you, I don't know, just to know, you make a difference matter, that sort of thing. I feel this is a path, though, you know where you want to go. I guess you have a goal, and introverted sensing, I would say, is more concrete. Well, it is more concrete. So in order to know your goal, you would have to look at the past. In order to have a really well-defined goal, you would have to look at the past in details, that sort of thing, because your goal involves something, concrete, whereas introverted intuition, I would say, is a goal, only it's abstract. Like it involves like sensory things, like also like we're still in a world, we have five senses, but it's like it's future oriented and possibilities oriented, so it could be like I feel like we don't have to plan out the details in the same way like we could plan out details in our mind of just possibilities, which it could be harder, uh, obviously, to implement them because they might not be as realistic as the introverted sensors, but we can still get there, either by, depending on how realistic it is to begin with, working extra hard to get there, or if it's just impossible to begin with, then making it more realistic. But in general, I feel like they're both about sort of like a pretty set in a certain way, like in what they believe. Introverted intuition, it's not as obvious, like a lot of the times, because it's abstract. So, and also I feel like another thing that comes along with introverted intuition is being able to look at things from more than one angle, so that also would make us less rigid. And maybe it's like consistency, because it is taking things in through like your environment, like you're taking everything in, and it's introverted, so you don't have to get as much as the extroverted perceiving types. But so if somebody with introverted intuition hears an idea, like for me, if I heard an idea and it didn't fit with like how I saw things in general, like I would see all the connections to things if I had a specific idea. If somebody said something that completely contradicted that, I'd be skeptical of it. Whereas a sensor, information, and like sensory detail, that sort of thing, if it contradicted their idea of how things were supposed to be, they would be skeptical of it. But I would say that so they're both, have a goal, and they're both like taking in information, like as much as they can, you know, so they can sort of, I guess, it's perceiving, so, and it's introverted, so I guess you could see both of them is just really trying to have a deep understanding of something. And I think also, going back to the introverted judging function, it would be the same thing, only like for me, as saying this, being mostly an extroverted judger, and an introverted perceiver, it's sort of hard for me to think of it as like ways, think of like the opposite, mainly because I've used like the other two functions, like I've recognized that in myself, but like I said too on socionics, I think really like describes like it. I mean, I looked at mine, I also did the order, and I looked at mine as an ENFJ, and I don't know, it describes, because even before I knew about MBTI, that's how I saw things. I always saw things like that. I didn't know there was another way to see things. I mean, I knew some people were different, and I could pick up on the differences and try to like make it work. But I recognize them in people when I see the descriptions. But when I'm thinking of things, like, it just makes sense for me. I don't know if anyone else sees this, but when I'm thinking about like extroverted feeling, like, yeah, it makes sense why that would be the first thing I would go to when talking to people and understanding people and communicating with people. And introverted intuition, oh yeah, that would make sense, what I would internalize and everything. Like, and then if I'm still not getting it, then yeah, go to extroverted sensing and introverted thinking. It just makes sense. But so yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. I know it's a long thing. I don't know if you just watched this video or a couple videos, but sort of wanted to make these videos. And if anybody's watching, I guess tell me like if you think like I'm getting this right. I sort of did make this video, well, because I was told I didn't know what I was talking about, and if you saw the other videos, the person who I was talking to didn't know what they were talking about, admittedly, but apparently I didn't know what I was talking about, and I don't know. I also have thought these things about the functions, and I wanted to see if I was like correct, and if I'm wrong on anything, just correct me on it and tell me why. And I don't know. Alright, thanks for watching.